Hey guys, today is a super special episode because my cousin asked me to embroider on this satin short set for her best friend who's getting married. So I figured I would just walk you guys through the process with me because this is a special type of embroidered project and it does require special care. So let's just find out how we're gonna get it done. Before we get started, please make sure to like and subscribe this video to keep this channel going and to continue with all these amazing tutorials. We have surpassed 20,000 by a long shot, so I'm super excited to see where this channel goes, and it's all thanks to you guys. You guys are awesome, and let's get started. Since this is a tutorial, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right in, and let's quickly talk about what we're embroidering on and what the challenges are and how we can overcome them. Now, we are not embroidering the top. Instead, we're going to be embroidering the bottom. So my cousin actually bought this on Etsy. I'm not sure about the price point on it. I can go ahead and ask her, and if you guys wanna know where she picked this up, just leave me a comment below and I'll get back to you with an answer. So as we know, satin is not just like any regular garment. It actually requires special care. Why? Because it is so delicate. So we don't want to tarnish it while it is embroidering or while we're hooping it. So for that reason, we are going to need specialty materials. For example, this mighty hoop, which I actually will be using today to embroider on this. The reason why I'm using mighty hoops is because it does not leave behind any hoop marks. Any traditional hoop would leave some pretty harsh marks on material this delicate. So with mighty hoops, it doesn't, which is great because you can embroider something very thick like Carhartt jackets, and it has because of the pressure that it places, you're able to get a nice hooping tension. And then in contrast, you can also embroider really thin, delicate materials for the purpose of not ruining your materials with hoop marks. I will be doing some upcoming videos on the mighty hoops and the hoop master, so please look out for them. And meanwhile, I'm gonna go ahead and link this below so you guys can get your hands on it yourselves. And since this is a pretty thin material and it's also white, you are gonna be able to see through a little bit. So I don't want to only just use tearaway just because it's so thin and delicate. So any tearaway backing probably won't be strong enough to support this, especially because this will be washed and worn. So what I can do is that I can use a no-show cutaway, which is still pretty soft, but it's still stable enough to support those stitches. So all that's left to do is to just go ahead and hoop it. And of course, you also have to mark your placement. So I do want to talk about how I am going to mark my placement. I do not want to put any chalk on this garment. I don't want to put any water-soluble pens. I don't want to risk it being marked at all. So because of that, I'm going to come up with my own way of marking it without really marking it. So what's great about embroidery is that it's a craft. You can not agree with this method. You can probably have a better one that works for you. But for me, in this case right now, with the materials I have on hand, I have decided to stitch out a little sample of what it's gonna look like. And I'm just going to eyeball my placement. I could get a ruler if I want to, but I can pretty much say that this is gonna be about 1 inch from the end where the lace meets the actual fabric. And about, I would say, a little more than 1/2 inch, maybe like 0.75 of an inch from the top, right? So once I have my actual stitch out placed where I want it, so the reason that I'm doing this is because I want to make sure that the design is still going to be able to fall within the hoop, and I want to be able to actually visualize it before I go ahead and press start, so I can align my needle right to the center of this design. Now you're probably wondering why I'm not using my 8-in-1 hoops, and while I can use my 8-in-1 hoop, I can probably just double up an adhesive tearaway. I did want to give the mighty hoop a shot at showing what it's good for, and I also didn't really want to risk using tearaway. I wanted to use no-show cutaway instead, so I decided to just go with the mighty hoops. Okay, so this did take a little bit longer because this is a white garment. If it were any other color, I probably would have put a mark on it. But since it's so white and delicate, I really didn't want to ruin it. So I went with this whole tape technique that I literally just thought of. But hey, that's embroidery. What crazy things have you guys ever done to get an order done? Let me know in the comments below. So now that this is all hooped and ready to be in the embroidery machine, now all I have to do is just center and trace the design so that it falls around here. This is my little sweet spot. where I want the design to land, and then I am basically done. It's a pretty simple design, so it should not take any more than a few minutes once it's actually in the embroidery machine. So just so you know, I wouldn't keep a bunch of these already pre-hooped before you put them into the machine, because this needs to be hooped and unhooped as quickly as possible, because we do not want to ruin the material. Even if we're using mighty hoops, we still need to take that precaution. So just a little heads up for you guys. Alrighty, so I am done with the embroidery. I'm just gonna go ahead and take it out of the hoop gently and take it out of the machine gently and then take it out of the hoop gently. Ooh, it is out. Let's start seeing what that looks like. Looks nice. What does this mean for embroiderers? You can pick up sets like this. All you need to do is put it in the machine for 5 minutes. It's a super fast design. As long as you get the placement down, the embroidery part is very simple, and you can resell something like this for even $40 and $50. And who knows, even more, because it's the wedding market, and as we know, they are in a season of love, and that means that they are willing to spend big bucks and pay a premium for services like these. All right, so thank you guys for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Let me know if you've ever embroidered on wedding apparel and what you've done, or any of the other questions I've asked throughout the video. Please feel free to engage and let me know below. So since this is so cute, I hope, Mrs. Kobe, that you really love this as much as I love you guys. Okay, I'll see you guys next week. Bye. Etiquette, let's do it again. This is a special type of embroidery, and you should do, so let's get,
Let's hold here. Can you do me a favor before we actually get started? Can you transfer the